YouTube streets. What's up? What is up? What is up in the house tonight? Man, oh man, it's been a day. But it's been a good day. Because any day above ground is a good day. And since you coming in to see my good day, can you at least hit the like button? I would so appreciate it. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. I don't know what I could do in return to show you how grateful I am for that like. But let me just tell you I appreciate it. So, since ain't nobody here in the chat right now, I'm just going to talk anyway. And while I'm sitting here talking, I'm going to be looking at whatever's on television as well cuz I got it on YouTube, of course. Been looking at some of the content that's offered to those of us who are addicted to YouTube. And I am definitely one that is addicted to YouTube. I used to watch CNN every day in, day out. No more. No more. No more. Too controlled, too unreal. I'll put it like that. They ain't telling us all that we should know. So, for now, I'm just going to sit here and wait for somebody to wander in. You can even stumble in if you want. Okay, let's see. Since I didn't watch the YSL trial focused today, I'll pull up the first one I see. Shannon Stillwell's ex says he ain't never leaving her for ... I know who the ... is, because that was all they talked about last week was Kayla Bumpkus. Kayla Bumpkus and Shannon Stillwell got married. And infamous Sylvia was being messy. Somehow or another it got out. And from what I can tell, infamous Sylvia is that kind of person. She messy. That's at least what I heard. But, I don't know the woman. So I can't say for sure what she did and what she didn't do. But I can tell in listening to her explanation, yeah, this ain't her first rodeo of being messy. So, and she's got quite a following that believes in her. Bless their hearts. So, right now I'm just kind of wiping my forehead because I got makeup on my face that needs to come off. I've been playing with the kids all day. Or should I say they've been playing with me. So, I'm going to try to fix this. Plus, when you wear a baseball cap, sometimes that makeup just gets smeared off in the inside of your baseball cap or whatever cap you're wearing. And then the next thing you know, you're two-tone. You got biracial politics. They retracted their message. Why'd you do that? I want to talk to somebody who's biracial and political. What you want to say? Talk to me. You still here? At least I see that you still here. Hit the like button if you're going to be here. Hello, darling. How are you? Biracial politics. Now, we can chop that up right now. Yes. We could talk about some biracial politics up in here. Up in here. And who do I have the pleasure of speaking to tonight? What you want to talk about? You must have read my book or read the name of my book or something. Who you calling a white girl? Yeah, we got to stick together. Ooh, we catch it from both sides, don't we? Man, oh man. But I got to tell you, yeah, I got to tell you this. I can tell you from experience that black folks are more accepting than white folks. Because that's all I knew. My daddy's parents raised me. My mother, on the other hand, she bounced. 6 months old, she toodles. And what's cold about it is her mother kicked her to the curb for having me. So I'm proud to say I'm black. I may not look black, but try me. So how you doing, love? It is it daytime where you're at? It's same time as you. Well, is it 7 o'clock your time right now? 7 o'clock p.m. Ooh, there's another person in here. We gonna see if they come up. We don't want to scare them away. I don't know. I liked seeing it. Well, I really liked it when Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo was on there. That's when I really liked it. But when they bounced, it was like it wasn't the same. But I don't know. As I got older, I was more into, watching the news and stuff like that and watching what was going on in the world. And, I thought it to be informative. And to a certain degree, it still was. But I found out so much more coming over to YouTube because you're exposed to a whole lot of different perspectives. Whereas on CNN, it's kind of one sided. So I needed to get out of that one sided. It's 10. So you're on the East Coast? So I'm on the West Coast. I'm in Washington State. There is two people in here. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. West Coast, East Coast. We ain't got no East Coast, what East Coast, West Coast, East Coast feud going on. So we cool here. Ain't no Pac and Biggie going on up in here. Oh my goodness. So tell me what you want to talk about besides CNN. I'm sure we could probably continue to talk about that, but I'm sure there's more to it. I'm scrolling through thumbnails on YouTube now, watching some of the YSL trial, which is another thing I couldn't see on CNN. They played a lot of political stuff, but this ain't political. Yes, it is, kind of, but you know what I'm saying. So that's a good question. That's a very good question. How can we raise the status and position of biracial people in this society? You know, all we can do is keep living and representing who we stand for, because we come from a very rich background. When you intertwine the two, it's almost conflicting, but it's indicative of where we came from. You know, all we can do is educate too. because there's a lot of educating that needs to be done on both sides. So that's the best I could come up with off the top of my head. We've been somewhere, we've seen some things, no matter how old you are. Yep. And not hide. Because some of us, for one reason or another, we hide who we really are, or what we really are. Be proud of where you come from. I'm proud of both sides of the coin. I just identify. Should we let them drag us into their conflicts or declare we got our own problems? I would say a little of both. Because if we're not dragged a little bit into the conflicts, what can we do in order to keep it from affecting us in a negative way? We have to be aware of what the conflict is about and still shine through our own. My chat keeps disappearing. We do have our own problems, but we have to identify what those problems are and who's involved beside us, because it's not just us. And I think that's where a lot of the problems come from, is the division. This country is so divided now. It's divided on so many different levels. It's divided in race, political ideology. I mean, the whole gamut. There's even black people have division amongst black people, depending on how light you are or how dark you are, who's got good hair, who's got bad hair. It's so much division. But then I always go back to the teachings of the Bible. Now, I'm not a big Bible thumper. I can't quote a whole lot of scripture to you. I can quote some scriptures and I couldn't tell you what chapter or what book it came from. But I do know this, that Satan is a deceiver, and his job is to come in and stir the pot. And as time goes on, he stirs that pot even more. And that's what we have. We have a divided society. The pot has been stirred up. And, once you stir something up, it's hard to separate, you know. It's always been divided, and it's been detrimental to biracial people because we don't embrace it and deal with it, because we can't force everyone to get along. No, we can't. We can't force anybody to get along. But, hey, LaShawna, how are you, sweetie? You might be able to give some insight on this too. I think America has always been divided, and it's been detrimental to biracial people because we don't embrace it. Doggone it. Show chat. Because where did it go? It disappeared. The message disappeared. You know what? Satan's a lie. He made the message disappear. Okay, there it is. I think America has always been divided, and it's been detrimental to biracial people because we don't embrace it and deal with it because we can't force everyone to get along. That's true. I think America's always been divided. It has been divided. And it's been to our detriment because we've been tugged on both sides of the coin. Unfortunately, it seems like neither side of the coin wants us. But I can say that the black side of the coin has always been more nurturing and accepting. And that goes into history because they were forced to. The white man forced himself into the bed of that black slave man's, the wife. I mean, it's gone way, way back there where it's always been forced. But we have suffered as a result of it. No, we don't defend ourselves enough. You're absolutely right. We don't defend ourselves enough. Because I mean, it gets to be tiring after a while, and it creates an animosity. Um, that's why I wrote my book, because I found myself defending who I was, and I shouldn't have to defend who I was, even to my own grandparents. And there was that struggle. My grandparents were black. My daddy's parents were black, but they're the ones that raised me. The white side of my family had nothing to do with me. I didn't meet my actual mother until I was 19 years old. And she hung around for about 5 months and she bounced again. I haven't seen her since. And I'm 62 now. So, with that said, you know, um, it was a struggle just to grow up in an African American home like this. When we need that, yep, you're right. You're right. And there's a lot of animosity because of the the whole light skin dark skinned issue, you know and once again, that has been as a result of the seed planted by who? White people. That comes from way back. you know that mentality, that old slave mentality. If you can just stay in good with massa, you gonna be all right. you know and it was a detriment to black people and biracial people. White folks don't never have to suffer from what we deal with. They never suffer. Then you've got those that are light like me and figure, okay, I'm going to take the easy way out and I'm just going to pass for white. No. Be you, boo, and be proud of who you are, because you come from good stock. I'm proud to be biracial. Matter of fact, I'm proud to be black, period. Point blank, period. Yep, it's become a competition. It's become a competition. Yep, within the black side. Because white folks, they ain't tripping about that. They're tripping more on economy, who's got that bag, But our struggle is so ancient, and we're so far behind. They've got a 400-year jump on us in terms of generational wealth and stuff like that. But one thing I will say is that we ain't never had to steal nothing to be where we are. Here's the sad part. We all are from, which comes from the black female who, yep, that's right. I almost missed that. Where'd that go? Because you sure enough can't make nothing from white, but you can make everything from black. You preaching a word. Here's the sad part. We are all from the, which comes from the black female. Why does this keep disappearing? Who can make all shades of babies, so we are all black, even the white people who think they are white. Amen. You just word right there and didn't even have to hoop. Didn't have to hoop. You just preached a word right there. We come from black. Everybody came from black. So this division is a man-made thing. And once again, it's indicative of who our true enemy is. Yep. Well, because it's a constant inclusion. It eventually, the minority is going to be white. And that's what I feel. I think that the minority will eventually be white, as far as what the looks are. But yes, Lashana, you're absolutely right. We all come from black in the first place. And that's a scientific fact. Years back, somebody did a piece in Time magazine. It was on the cover. And they acknowledged that the first man, first woman was black. They didn't even say Jesus was black. They said Adam and Eve was black. So imagine that. You coming from the first man and woman being black. So fast forward, what can you say? People are going to mix. There's no stopping it now. That train done left the station a long, long time ago. You can't put that toothpaste back in the bottle. Yep. That's why we're all basically brothers and sisters regardless. What does that mean for humanity? We all come from black, but the universe obviously didn't want it to remain that way. I don't know. Only God knows. That's a question you'd have to ask him. I cannot even pretend to try to tap into the wisdom or the meaning of what he wants. He lets things happen that we cannot understand. We just have to use our faith to know that, it's his will, and whatever it is, it's to his edification and our benefit. A lot of unexplained things, you know. Every day people are being slaughtered in some of the most malicious, heinous ways, and if you don't have some kind of spirituality, some kind of faith, Babylon towers, maybe. But I tell you one thing, with all that's going on and that has gone on in the world, people without faith, it'll drive them crazy trying to figure out, God, why did you allow this to happen? I think that's how atheists became who they are. People that were godless because they weren't taught to know God or have faith in God. Exactly. Man, when he disobeyed God in the Garden of Eden, that was the first step to what you just wrote. Because there was a reason God didn't want them to eat the forbidden fruit, the knowledge. He didn't want them to have the knowledge. And once man got a piece of that knowledge, he ran with it. And now a lot of men are walking this earth right now believing they're God because they've got technology under their belt, or they've done great things, not realizing or caring. Religion has separated us to a degree. It has separated the denominational thing. Religion is just man made ways to worship, basically, doctrines. But the bottom line is God Himself. That's the bottom line. I don't care if you Baptist, Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ, Catholic, Muslim, Jew, Gentile, it doesn't matter. One entity created us, and that's God. And no matter where you come from, that's what you have to acknowledge. But you've got people that will not acknowledge God. They, God doesn't exist. There is only God. But there are people out there that believe that we are particles from the universe. That's the common denominator, God. How you worship Him is your business. But as long as we agree that the God you serve is the God I serve, what more is there to argue about? Everything else is irrelevant. There are little rules and regulations that don't mean a doggone thing when it comes to terms with our faith. And our faith is what sustains us. Now, I'm not no Bible scholar. even though I'm married to a pastor. I'm not in, I'm not, I'm not a student of the Bible, but I know what I know because I've lived this long to experience some things, and I can always remember some of the things that I was raised on. And I was raised in the Church of God in Christ. Okay, you talking about a religion that is just as judgmental as all get up. Okay, and when you talk about church hurt, people leaving the church because people in the church have hurt them psychologically. It'll boggle the mind. But when you've allowed the Holy Spirit to practice in your life, and I'm not, again, I'm not a Bible thumper, but I know what I believe in, and I'm not bashing people over the head with it. People are going to believe what they want to believe, but I know that the Bible says the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the Holy Trinity. And that's not no joke. That's not no fluke. Each one has its uh, purpose in the whole scheme of things. But again, Satan, what is his job? To confuse, to confuse people. You know, and he's definitely doing a good job of it. Actually, he's really running amok. But yeah, the biracial issue has always been an interesting subject, and it's always been, it seems like the black white issue has been more polarized than any other combination of people, because you still got Indian people and black, you've got white people and Indian, you've got people from Peru and Pakistan with or other people, but it's always coming down to black and white. I don't know why, but I can only talk about what I know. And I come from I come from some old souls, and I grew up in that situation. Yep, shades. Yep, but that's within the one race in its entirety itself. But we're talking about the mixing of the two, biracial. You know what I mean? We have a bigger struggle than just who's light and who's dark. We got a big struggle, and that's why I wrote that book, because I got into many fights coming up. You want to fight me? Call me a white girl. Back then, because I'm coming from out of a time where black people were dying for our rights, the civil rights. And Martin Luther King, he died when I was 5 years old. I was five. I can remember as a 5 year old when Martin Luther King was assassinated. I remember seeing my grandmother on her knees crying. Oh, they done killed Martha Luther King. Martha Luther King. That's what she said, because she couldn't pronounce Martin Luther King. But it was crazy because my dad, I remember him, he's the only one that had a car in our family. And we lived in the black neighborhood at that time, black neighborhood in Seattle. And, after Martin was assassinated, they started rioting all over the country, in some places more than others. In Seattle, Washington, there's a school here called Garfield High School. And that at the time, the black school, the blackest school in the city of Seattle. As a matter of fact, the blackest school in the state of Washington, because Seattle is it's the biggest populated city. So they're rioting up there, and a lot of older generation issues was not known. the younger generations, the older generation, voices was silenced and issues swept under the rug. That's right. That's right. There's an old movie. I don't want to lose my thought about the riots. So if I forget, remember to tell me. Finish the riot story. But there was a movie back many years ago, and I want to say it was created even before I was born. Oh man, I wish I could remember that movie. But what it was about was a girl who looked white. Her mother was black, and she was a single mother, and her daughter rejected her because she didn't want anybody to know that she was biracial or black, and she acted like she was ashamed of her mother. Oh God, the imitation of life. That's the name of it. Imitate. There we go. Thank you, sweetie. Good minds think alike. Imitation of life. I can't remember when that movie was made, but it touched on that subject back then, and people were not acknowledging it as much back then. Yes, you are, you girl, and you just as young as all get up. But have you seen that movie? Man, that movie will have you crying. Even today, it'll have you crying because that girl did her mama so dirty. Oh my God, this woman was scrubbing floors and taking care of white folks all her life to provide for her little white daughter, who looked white. And she worshiped the ground that little girl walked on. And as she got older, she had a little, uh, her best friend. Yep, she was running behind her mama's casket, crying for her mama after she did her so dirty. She wasn't sorry until her mama died. But she had her best friend who was the daughter of the woman her mother worked for. You remember that? Because her mother was the maid, so to speak. And the maid had this little white girl, and of course the woman, the rich woman that the maid worked for had a little daughter. They were both the same age, and they grew up together. This woman worked for this white woman for years, and they became very close. What the black side does is not talk about, because society isn't used to the black side being like white. We know how hard it was coming from whites. I think where we feel burdened is what the black side is not talked about, because society isn't used to the black side being like white people. Exactly. There's racism on both sides, and that's not acknowledged on the black side. That's where the burden is. Have you ever gone to Angry Man? He's a content creator here on YouTube. Huge following. And this is one of his big topics. And he's actually been accused of being non-black. And he's black. But he's been accused of being Puerto Rican or Latino, stuff like that. But he goes in on this subject big time. You might, if you haven't checked him out, he's a little rough around the edges. He's a content that his niche is building black men, building, making black men more masculine, getting them back where they should be. Because apparently, according to society, I guess. Yeah, check him out. He's been on YouTube for years, and he's called The Angry Man. Huge following. But like I said, he's rough around the edges. That man be cussing people out every day. And sometimes I have to change the channel because I can't take some of his points of view, because he can get kind of insulting at people. I have a problem with content creators that have a huge following, and if you don't agree with them in the chat, then they want to cuss you out and insult you and stuff like that. And I'm just like, wait a minute, aren't we supporting you? What if we walked away? Then, I mean, I'm sure everybody won't walk away at the same time. This guy's got, I think it's, I want to say 700,000 subs. He's huge. He rubbed elbows with Kevin Samuels, Anton Phillips. He's up in that area. So, but he's one that is very, very vocal on that subject of biracial people, black people that are not living up to, you know, what the expectations of the black man and black woman should be. And to some degree, I can agree with him in some respect. I have a problem with the perception of the black woman now being that, the picture of the black woman is got booty shorts on and twerking and popping her pee and, I don't want to say the word, but, and then the man, not working and, it's a really negative picture that many people have fallen into that trap. And I don't know what it's going to take to get them out of it, but, and, I don't even want to talk about the politics of it. I just, Kamala Harris, I'm not sure. Between her and Trump, there's some things I can't, I'll be first to tell you, I can't stand Trump. I can't. I don't appreciate his lack of integrity. But there's a but there. As much as I don't like that man, some of the things that he stands for, I stand for as well. Even though he doesn't represent God the way I represent God in my heart, his character, his integrity is very flawed. So it's not indicative that he even follows Christ. But what he believes, I believe. Not everything. I don't like that two-party system either. I believe that as well. There needs to be some, revamp it or something. I don't know, because this two-party system, both parties are flawed, big time. You know, I was raised in a Democratic household, so unfortunately, just like a lot of other black folks, we were just through the generations, we were just sheep following the previous generation. But we don't have the same issues that our forefathers had, so you can't you can't just stick with one niche just because mama and daddy did it or grandpa and grandma did it, you know because that was a different time. Even the Democratic Party and the Republican Party had different ideals back during slavery. The Democrats were the bad guys back then, and the Republicans were the good guys. But now today, it's like the script has been flipped. But again, I all I can do is go back to what I've always been taught is that we living in some crazy times, and anybody that knows what the Bible says. And the Bible does have historic repetitiveness. Different things in the Bible have repeated itself over time. But each time it's repeated, it's worse than the other time, the previous time. So it could have been bad right here. And then something similar will happen again right here, but it was worse than this time. And then let's fast forward, let's say from Hitler, okay? We fast forward up until Reagan. I'll just throw Reagan out. And the Reagan era was worse than, Hitler. It's just each time gets historically closer and closer to the end, you know. And as we trudge along, we're getting close to the end, you know. A lot of people don't believe there's going to be an end, but then there's a lot of people that don't believe in God too. So I just try not to get too involved with convoluting my belief. You know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and you know, it is what it is. But I got to get back to my story when Martin Luther King died. When Martin Luther King died, my daddy put me in the car. We had to go run an errand or something. And we didn't live too far from Garfield High School where the riots broke out. And when my dad drove into that crowd, somehow or another, he got caught up in that crowd. And here I am, this little 5-year-old little white girl in the front seat. And back then, we didn't wear seat belts. Yeah, I'm that old. And I remember the crowd getting closer and closer to the car. And my dad grabbed me and shoved me down onto the floor of the front seat of the car to hide me from the crowd, because he was afraid that if they saw me, they would attack. That's how pissed off black folks was back then when Martin Luther King was assassinated. That much I remember. I don't remember a whole lot about details after that other than my mama on her knees crying and that riot situation maybe a day or two later. Crazy times, really crazy times. So, you know, coming up in the CD as the only little white girl in the neighborhood. Matter of fact, and the lightest little thing within a 10, 15 block radius, because everybody knew each other back then too. Even if you lived on a certain block, you knew who, you know, people from other blocks, other neighborhoods. And you know, it just, you become a target. And that's what I became. I became a target. You know, I had good friends until they all got together. You know, if it was one or two of them and me, we cool. But when they got around other people that I was cool with, they would all get together and let's mess with Mickey, you know. So I had to fight all the time, because you ain't going to just punk me. My whole thing was, don't let me show you how black I am. You don't want this smoke. So that's why I named that book, Who You Calling a White Girl? Because it was an insult. It was considered an insult. And that's how I took it. And back then you didn't shoot nobody. You just laid hands. You just, you know, pow. You just did what you had to do, and the fight was over and you lived to see another day. Nowadays, it ain't like that. But thank God they're not fighting over, you know, who's white, who's black, who's biracial. They fighting over crazier stuff. These gangs are out of control. So I done sit up here and ran my mouth so long. Y'all can get a word in. Or did I run y'all off? Nobody else came by either. I'm surprised. LaShawna, have you talked to Bestie lately? Did I run you guys off? Just yapping. But that's what I know, you know. That's what I know about. I get passionate about it. I need to write down, if you're listening still, I need to write down your, oh, okay, biracial politics. I want to sub to your channel. Is that cool with you? Okay. Is that cool with you that I sub to your channel? Okay. I'm going to sub to your channel and I'm going to check out your videos. You have videos on your channel? Because I definitely want to support you and support your content. We can support one another. Have you heard of Angry Biracial? No, I haven't. Is that a content creator too? Oh, I got to write that one down. Okay. Well, please don't hesitate to drop by my channel and check out my videos as well. And that was Angry Biracial. I gotta go check that out. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to, I want to take a look at that. Yeah. Well, you're free to come by my channel anytime and check out whatever videos. As a matter of fact, I posted my whole video, my whole autobiography on my channel. And it's in a playlist, so you can listen to each chapter. I read each chapter. There's 16 chapters, and there's a video for each chapter. If you want to go by there and just listen, you might be driving down the street and don't want to watch your phone, but you can at least listen and, you know, let me know what you think. I did that and one other book. I didn't write the other book. I read, what's her name's book? The one that was with Diddy. Kim, what's her name? Porter. Okay, he's got 10 books published. Wow. Cool. I definitely got to go check him out. Yes. That would be interesting. How old is he? Do you know? Ooh. Ouch. Ouch. Whew. My knee is killing me. Okay. He's in his 40s, so he's young enough to be my son. My oldest son is 43, and my youngest son would have been 40 this year. He passed 6 years ago, so I got 4 grandkids, and yeah, there's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of us, but my family is basically my husband's family. My family was very, very small, very minute, so I was fruitful and multiplied. I doubled. Oh, bless your heart. Thank you. Oh my goodness, thank you. I wish I wish I felt as good, as young as I look, because, whoo, I was just talking to Lashana earlier about how things kind of suddenly changed and we kind of pinpointed what the problem was. So I got to get rid of these medicine balls from Starbucks. I drink about 4 of these a day, and I doctor them up with honey and peppermint extract and peppermint syrup, and my stomach just suddenly just bloated up, and it's giving my back hell. So I got to reverse that. Not to mention I'm a smoker, so. But God is good anyway, all the time. beside that, I still like to be young around my grandkids. We be dancing around and they be trying to teach me the latest dances, and my knees be like, no, no, you can't do that dance. You need your knee. You need both of your knees. And these knees are not going to do those dances. I don't want to twerk anyway. I can't twerk. I don't have it. I don't have it. That's something I didn't inherit. I can dance according to my own generation, but these dances they got out now, ooh wee. Nope. Some of them moves that they doing nowadays on the dance floor, they need to stay in the bedroom. That's where they need to be. Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh God, that's too much. That was a bit much. Anywho, Magic Mulatta. She's 30, but she talks about current things and more about goals somebody rich people want. Okay, Magic Mulatta. Let me pull that up. I gotta write that down because I'm not. Me and YouTube are having fits. Magick. MU. Come on, come on, come on. Mulatta. Oh, she's from up here too. Uh-oh. I might know her. I might know her mama. Wouldn't that be a trip? It wouldn't be the first time. I done found some people that live right up here and didn't know it. So yeah, this is a good way to reach out to people that I'm in close proximity to. Yes, sir. Luciana, you still here? Or did we run you off? 'Cause you just got through doing a live. Magic Mulatta. Says I have 3 in the chat. But YouTube is not very reliable. Unless there really is another person sitting there and just chilling, just watching. I get that every time. I'll be talking to 2 people, but it'll say there's 3, unless they're counting me. I don't see how that should be though. That's weird to me. But I guess YouTube is making some drastic changes too, so ain't no telling what they doing. All right, thank you so much for coming by. You have a good evening. Take care. Luciana, you there, sweetie? Let me go. If you're there, I'll be right back, sweetheart. I gotta go to the kitchen real quick. Luciana, you still there, sweetie? It says there's two in the chat. Let me see if I can get a hold of my husband downstairs. Okay, let me fix this. Okay, let me go get my tea. Oh, let's see, is Lashana still here? Oh, hey, sweetie. What's up with you? Oh, where'd the remote go? I can't find my remote. Whew. Not much, huh? Uh-oh, we got 4 up in here. Welcome. We just sitting here chilling. If you want to say anything, feel free. Okay, living in my car. Why I moved into my car. Story time, episode 1. Ooh wee. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that. Dash of Faith. Okay, that's old. I'm so tired. At Dash of Faith and Doe Dash, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about doing, dashing, and faithing in those 3 names. One name. Dash of Faith returns. How is that a big deal? I mean, they just made it into a big old soap opera. Whew. Man, oh man. Is anybody here besides baby? It says 3 people are in here. I know 1 left because that was 4. So now there's 2 people here that I don't know who they are. But hey, if you guys want to sit here and watch, you feel free to do so. You can sit here and watch me watch TV. Oh, somebody decided to leave. It just don't make sense to me. Why are you sitting there watching? But I can understand. People don't want to engage. They just want to watch. I get it. I completely get it. And it keeps jumping from 2 to 3 to 2 to 3 to 2 to 3. This is amazing to me. But now, if you haven't already hit the like button, please do. Just as a small favor. That would be really nice. Now it says 2. I guess not. They don't want to talk no more. Because I am talked out as well. I can sit here and let this thing run. And if somebody want to say something, feel free. Hopefully I'll catch it. I should be able to catch it though. I think I'll just sit here and let this thing run. The lawyer you know. They're looking at stuff against Diddy. Candace Owens, huh? That should Meek at 8. I'll look at that one.
And support your girl via Cash App, via Super Chat. And if you're watching this on the replay, if you didn't catch this live, y'all can show love down on in the comments as well. They call it a super sticker when it gets to the comments, and you can bless the channel any which way you can, and even
Ooh,
support
her
my
hair
queen
is
as well
banging.
by hitting that like button and hitting that share button as well. And y'all let me know what y'all think about it. Now, I feel like her saying that Kayla was up there mugging her and her talking about how Shannon was her man, it just let me know that she definitely was rolling her eyes at Kayla and how she was definitely confirming that Kayla was up in there. And she definitely was confirming that she's not coming up off of that man either. Now
Mm.
you got a massive fight over a man in jail over
Two women fighting over a man who might be going to prison.
what is it? He facing like 300 years, child.
300 years
And
is
y'all
what he's
playing
facing.
tug of war. The
I don't
boy
think he's
is
going that
dying,
for that long.
child. And the state over there playing tug of war with his life. And the women is playing tug of war. Now, I feel like he winning, to be honest.
I do too.
He got him a scripper girlfriend that's his ride or die. You know she put money on the books.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Kayla, who got her little attorney money. You know she probably put money on the books too, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
So he over there living luckily. He's over
Fluffily.
there living luckily in Vegas.
Fluffily.
Okay? I ain't mad at Shannon. Okay, can you imagine the type of jail talk that's going on? Can you imagine the type of jail talk that he got going on, child? I wonder what their books is looking like. Nah, but I ain't gonna hold you. Shannon, he
Yep.
could very
They talking about
well
Shannon.
be one of them guys that's taking care of his lady from the pen as well, man. I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know. Both of them look like they like to be spoiled too, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe he POP holding him down from jail because, there are some men who taking care of households from behind bars.
From
So,
behind bars.
you know, I don't know. I feel like he getting help with. I feel like it's probably the reverse though, but it could be. I mean,
I
it
think
could
so.
be. I don't know. You say he's trying to get his legal bills paid.
He got enough of them.
all I'm saying is, all I'm saying is, I ain't mad at him. But that's all I got for y'all today. I'll catch y'all on the next one. I might go live again. I need
Well,
to
what did you talk about?
I need to cook something to eat real quick. I need to whip up something real quick in the kitchen. In the kitchen real quick. And then I probably, if I do go back live, it'll probably be like a late live. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all let me know what it's giving. I will catch y'all on the next one. I might go live again. I'm not sure. Um, y'all funny in the chat. Y'all let me know what it's.
She ended it? Oh, that's corny. That was corny. What God is about to do will. Pastor Marvin Winans. Trump is done. What God is about to do will. That looks like he's in a casket. Uh, well, they doing the most on here. They are definitely doing a lot.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, maybe if you're Jack Dorsey, the former owner of Twitter, and Jay-Z, you got some explaining to do. And people are wondering why the block is so hot. Now, listen, you guys remember when the whole thing with Jay-Z was going on, and Pierce Morgan, and they who shall not be named was on it, and they came down and shut it down and basically derailed a whole campaign. I noticed people been mighty quiet and they moved into different avenues, but baby, it seems like the message was actually received by those people spreading allegedly super false rumors about Jay-Z and his missus. Now here's the thing, right? Maybe this ain't no okey doke velvet couch stuff. These reports are coming directly from media takeout. But I said, where did shut up? Media takeout be knowing sometimes. I said, but where did the media takeout report come from? And don't
Oh,
you know
she
I
talking about
disagree? They're
Jay
saying it
Z.
came directly from Fortune magazine. I dare some people to say that Fortune magazine ain't legit or is running some gossip. And maybe they have direct quotes from the employees. This is actually a little disturbing and it makes you think, what are they hiding? What is cooking up? Does this have something to do with Diddy? Or is Jay-Z and Co facing something that don't
You
got
okay
nothing to do
downstairs,
with Diddy,
boo?
but is just as big? Listen to this. And also, what is
You
Jack
okay?
Dorsey up to? You sold Twitter to Elon Musk. You did all this. You know what? Let's just get into this story, right? This is directly from Fortune.com, Fortune magazine. I know y'all heard of it. Their actual tech department. Exclusive. Employees at Jack Dorsey's block were ordered not to
Ooh, I
discuss
am getting
or invitations
sleepy.
for layoffs. What is his vow of silence? What is his code of silence? What is going on?
I'm ready.
This is getting weird.
Yes,
It's getting weird.
I
I
am
can
ready to go
understand
to
you don't want
sleep.
bloggers talking about you. You don't want TikTok talking about you. You don't want this and that. 'Cause I get it, right? At a certain point, it turns into one flew over the cuckoo's nest. People talking about they save people off a boat rabbit. Like, it starts to get weird, right? But, but, this is actually people's place of employment. This is a place that all employees, let me tell you how they did it, right? Employees at the financial tech firm Block, that's a blockchain theme, have been ordered by executives not to discuss a prominent board member, rapper Jay Z. Staffers, these are workers, have recently received stern warnings. Stern warnings. That means it is a fireable offense from management that they shouldn't mention Jay Z, whose legal name is Sean Carter, on internal company forums like email or messaging system Slack. According to three employees who requested an anonymity because they are not permitted to speak about corporate matters. No reason was given for the order. So it's not even like they said you guys are doing this, or they literally just said, we know, because you know jobs monitor your stuff, we know that you are talking
Mm.
about Jay-Z. You are not allowed to mention his name. They were like, why? And they were like, cuz. And these are just the three people that snitched. They told the whole office that. Again, the question was they said even in corporate matters. They said in 2021, under CEO Jack Dorsey, Block acquired a majority stake in the music streaming platform Tidal from a company owned by Jay Z. Jack Dorsey and Jay Z are said to be very good, close, personal friends. Last week, Block laid off dozens of workers from Tidal's relatively small staff. Fortune magazine also reported it. At the time, further cuts are expected
Ooh,
at Tidal and other block entities, which
that
also includes
peppermint
Square and
kind
Cash
of
App.
creeped up in my
Okay,
eye.
because he's reorganizing the company. I know Cash App, oddly enough, got hit with a lot of fines for what they were doing. So I don't know. Maybe that financial model is a little bit off. I often have said that
Mm.
financial things have a bigger
Mm.
impact on whether
Okay,
somebody goes to jail or is held accountable
I'll
for
be
anything.
here.
But I wonder if Square, Cash App, and Block all had Diddy as an investor. Earlier this week, Block laid off some staffers at TBD, its developer platform. The platform is now set to be closed completely. There were also layoffs at 20 people. The order to not mention Jay-Z came last month as some employees questioned among themselves Jay-Z's role on Block's board given his purported longtime friendship with P. Diddy, the rapper and entrepreneur whose legal name is Sean Combs. The two have collaborated on music and frequently been photographed together for many years. They're also very good friends, attending things like parties and sporting events. Combs and I believe they have business together. Diddy is currently in prison
Mm.
awaiting trial related to federal indictment
This feels
accusing
so
him of years
good.
of sex trafficking and related crimes, multiple sexual assault allegations, and numerous lawsuits against Diddy have been filed. A spokeswoman for Block pointed fortune to the company's most recent shareholder letter, published today, which notes that the winding down of TBD, but otherwise declined to comment about any warning against mentioning Jay-Z. The letter also notes a scaling back of investment in Tidal, given giving Block to invest in our Bitcoin mining initiative, which is strong product market fit and a healthy pipeline of demand and big key are self-custody. Okay, let me just say this. Sorry. That's why I was stumbling because I was trying to get this log out. Tidal has a bunch of investors. Is Diddy one of the investors in Tidal? Because if he is, and he's involved in money laundering, that means Tidal could actually be seized in federal foreclosure. That means that Block in all these places would have a reason to get their money out as quick as possible. Why now, after the whole record industry is going down, I believe the CEO of Rock Nation was just laid off, why is everybody trying to sever ties as much as possible? Um, it makes no sense. I mean, there's a chance that Diddy didn't invest in uh, 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 it does not say whether Diddy uh,
You ain't missed nothing.
is a title investor. I'm Googling this right now, sorry. Oh, look at this. Yes, Diddy is an investor in Tidal, okay? Diddy is an investor in Tidal. Now, why is that important? Well, I'll tell you why. Because, again, federal foreclosure. If they can prove that Diddy used any money from his RICO organization to invest in Tidal, that whole company could go down in foreclosures. They
Mm.
said Diddy and Jay-Z have worked together on music and have been photographed together many times,
Same thing with
okay?
Thug. They trying to take
You're
all his
getting that
money.
Diddy is an investor in Tidal. Again, he has equity in Tidal. There's a lot going on with that, but it's just so interesting to me. Oh, look at this. Forbes, as of the 23rd, said Diddy was worth 90 million. They said the artist formerly known as Diddy makes a bulk of his bucks from booze, particularly his partnership with Diego Chirac Vodka. His empire also includes ownership in De Leon tequila and Aqua Hydrate aqua water, while streaming continues its rapid rise. But he has his Bad Boy Orchestra Universe. He has that Cannabis deal that fell through. This and the third. Okay, so they are saying that he definitely is an investor in Tidal. This is Google Gemini. I trust Google. It is what it needs to be. So why is that important? Is that why everybody's getting out of Tidal and pulling their money out and
Mm.
reinvesting, and why they're not about to mention Jay-Z? Because if they mention
Makes a
Jay-Z
lot of
and they
sense
start
why
asking
they would
questions
pull out
about Tidal, then Diddy's name's going to
before
come
they
up,
take
and they're going to
everything
be in the
off.
same place that Revolt
They
TV
take
is,
everything he's
trying to
got.
distance themselves. Um, Again, they said really quick. This is in LinkedIn. The race between Apple Music, Spotify, and Tidal is the race between Dr. Dre, Diddy, and Jay Z. All right, there you have it. But let's get back into this because I thought. Hold on, really quick. Let's get back into this. I'm back, right? Anyway, they said shortly after Black employees were warned about discussing Jay Z,
Let me see if I
Jack
can
Dorsey held a
find his
virtual all
channel.
hands meeting. Usually during these meetings, employees ask questions anonymously if they choose of Jack and other Black leaders. For this meeting, however, Jack turned off the ability for employees to ask questions anonymously, according to two people who were present for the call. People present explained that the CEO kicked off the meeting by complaining about perceived negativity from the staff, saying he wanted more positivity. He then handed off the meeting to other Black executives who were told by Dorsey to answer the question, "Why are you happy you're here?" Listen, at the end of the day, Fortune said, "Are you a Black employee or someone with insight or a tip to share? Contact Kaylee Hill securely through Signal at 1-949-280-0267 or at Kaylee, Kali dot Hayes, Hays, at Fortune.com. Y'all, if you got anything to say, go ahead and hit Kaylee up. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to y'all later.
Hmm.
Bye.
At Jiffy Lube, we car about cars. In fact, we're kind of obsessed. It's why we've been taking car business with quick quality service.
Well, I
for
can't
over
get
40
into
years.
Are you
anybody's
saying car?
That's
page
right,
from
Cliff. And with
here.
things like our carful vehicle
So,
review, where our experts check, fill, inspect, and clean your
with that
vehicle.
said,
No real car for your car.
I guess
Car
I'll
for ours.
stop this
Some
live
people think it's just an oil change.
because it just doesn't make sense
We
to
do.
sit here.
We car.
It says I have two in the chat.
Jiffy Lube.
I only know of one.
Shop local and we're the best in appliances, offering the best selection of top name brands at the guaranteed lowest prices. Visit our website now for weekly specials.
What's up, everybody? Welcome in to today's episode where we're going to talk about P. Diddy. We're going to look at some of the civil cases. We're going to read through some of the allegations. We're going to look at kind of an overview of 20 plus civil cases. We're going to talk about some of the similarities, some of the differences, how that might help or
That's a
hurt
lot of
individual
civil
cases, but
cases.
also how they specifically might apply to the criminal case. Additionally, we're going to look at an NDA that I believe is an attachment to one of these civil cases. It's been reported that this is kind of a sample NDA that Diddy and his team used. We're going to look at the language. See, is it sinister? Is it as bad as it seems? Will they be able to use it in any of the civil cases or the criminal cases? We're going to look into all of that to kind of give a Diddy update of all of the things that are swirling and continuing to come out. Lawsuits have been filed in October and November of this year. So this stuff is going to continue to pile on top of P. Diddy as he awaits his criminal prosecution. We're going to talk about what it means, answer all of your questions. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Thanks for being here today. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's get into it.
Okay. Me too.
So the first thing I wanted to look at is a complaint.
I'm trying to
right?
get
There's
to
20 plus
at
complaints
least
out there that
a
have been filed
100
against P. Diddy
minutes,
over the years. And what's cool
but
about this one, or interesting,
or at
cool
least
is hard to
90
put.
minutes.
What's
I
interesting
think
about
I
this
can
one
hang on
is
for another
the facts are a
6
little bit
minutes.
different.
What do you
It's kind of
think?
shorter and to the point. It gives us an example that a lot of what's been reported in the news, and we're going to look at a lot of these cases today. We already looked at the Cassie case. Are deplorable, horrible acts, unimaginable. This one is interesting because it is a weird, creepy, illegal, should never happen act, but it's a little bit different than, the freak offs where people were forced to do things with sex workers and, ruining people's lives for a record deal. This is almost a look into how sinister and creepy and weird this really was, and if these allegations are true, how it starts to build and create the reputation of P. Diddy in this criminal case. The generally bad guy rule will absolutely apply to P. Diddy. We talked about it in other cases about how courts will allow a lot of different information in about the background of somebody if it's relevant to the case, and not just if it goes to propensity evidence. Well, these specific facts we're going to read about in this um, complaint today will give you a little window into that. And there are going to be some horrible allegations, and we're going to read through those, and those are going to be the headlines. But these are the types of ones that really let you know, like, something is wrong here, and this is bad. And again, if proven. And what's important when we read all of these, most of these cases are still ongoing or have been settled, but it gives you an idea of just how many victims there are and how many of them are likely going to be willing to come and testify against him in the criminal case. So that's what's interesting about seeing just the numerosity of complaints against P. Diddy. There's a lot of things we've already been through. We don't need to go through necessarily every word of the lawsuit because a lot of the background is the same as in other cases. But I do want to read some of the allegations about P. Diddy's business, right? On the surface, they seem legitimate. They have a legitimate purpose related to entertainment, music, and other subjects. Because a lot of people have asked that question. What if they're just legitimate businesses? What if P. Diddy's just making music and making a lot of money making music? That's not illegal. But in reality, Combs buying through himself and his agents, employees, and contractors use these businesses to assault, abuse, threaten, and coerce hundreds of individuals through sexual quid pro quo schemes, as well as take advantage of individuals with impunity, thinking the victims would never seek remorse. Combs and his agents, employees, and contractors, through these Combs businesses, would tell victims, this is what it takes to be famous. What are you willing to do to become a star? And perform this act or else. To coerce the victim into performing a non-consensual sexual act or gratification of Combs and his cohorts. So it's also interesting that a lot of these complaints,
I don't know. That should be turned up too
some
high.
of the horrible and deplorable allegations we've heard in the media, and that we see in other complaints, whether or not it all applies to their specific victim. I actually think some of the stuff that you mentioned in this complaint might not be relevant to this civil case, but for public consumption, number one, and number two, to really leverage this against P. Diddy and the other businesses to try and get a financial settlement. We're going to talk about how all of that comes into play in the criminal case. Members of associates of Combs business engaged in or attempt to engage in, among other activities, trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for the purpose of prostitution, coercion, enticement to engage in prostitution, narcotics offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So again, these are things we've heard. These are some of the criminal acts that they're charged with. Wait till you see what the claims are. This horrible, horrible illegal. Don't forget that. I'm not minimizing it. But when you compare them to trafficking, forced labor, transportation for prostitution, engaging in prostitution, narcotics, kidnapping, bribery, it's none of those specific things. I guess it could be an element of sex trafficking. I don't know. Actually, probably. But we'll talk about it. It is definitely sexual offense. The Combs business constitutes an ongoing organization whose matters function as a continuing unit for a common purpose, of which you can be objectives and quotes. So a lot of this is very similar language again to what you're seeing in other the allegations against Combs. Then we get to is pervasive history of this type of assault and violence. And to me, again, how relevant would this be? Would this actually come in during a civil case? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. But they lay it out nonetheless. And they go into detail about how we have the video from Cassie, about the types of parties, what they did at those parties. Talk about how he was celebrated for his business activity, but in reality, he used it for what? And what allegations do we have in the past? Well, we have the nightclub shooting. We have multiple assault allegations. We have business disputes. Like, what does a business dispute have to do with this civil claim? But I think, again, what they're doing is building it up to show what the bad guy is. In a normal case like this, you would not have these characters. They would not be relevant, per se, to the type of case they're bringing here. Claims by Cassie Ventura. He used certain date rape drugs. He's been found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a photographer. Right? So they're just basically naming all this, and then they go through all the other people that have sued. He didn't. And they mention that in their complaint. Again, not sure what element this proves in their cause of action and why it needs to be in a complaint that you file against somebody, civilly speaking, but it's there. And again, I think this is their way to show just how bad it is. Yes, I have heard he's trying to get bail again. We'll talk about that. Highly unlikely he's successful. Then we go into parties. Sean Combs, Diddy's House Recordings Inc., CEOPCO, Bad Boy Record Labels and Brands, Bad Boy Entertainment Holdings, Bad Boy Production Holdings, Records LLC, Bad Boy Entertainment LLC, Bad Boy Productions. And those are the entities that they're suing. So what? Again, we talked about this a little bit, but just to give just kind of quick answers to go through, because a lot of people ask me about the civil cases. Multiple insurance policies. We have, in this case, again, it might just be one specific act, which is why I pulled it out. So it's pretty interesting. But a lot of the cases where it can happen at every party, it happens all the time, it happens every time you report it with people. Those could be multiple insurance policy claims. So if he has $1 million per occurrence, it's like, well, it happened on this date, that's $1 million. It happened on this date, that's $1 million. It happened on this date, that's $1 million. We've had cases like that before in reviews, especially we had a case where it was a child abuse case, horrible case that's happening in a daycare. And one happened in 2023, one happened in 2024, two different dates. You get the insurance company insurance policy to apply twice. Certain circumstances you're allowed to do that. Others you're not. Depends on how it's written. Alright, so now the important one. The specific factual allegations of this case. Angela said, I wonder how many of these lawsuits will be thrown out. I'm sure some will. Well, that's what's kind of cool about the overview we're going to get. It's from an article. I'm going to shout out the guy that wrote it, because he did a good job looking into it and what the issues are with some of them and what the procedural posture is of them, which ones are going to get thrown out, which ones are going to get, which ones have already been settled, which ones are ongoing. So we're going to get into that a little bit as well. And how long some of these are going to last against it.
It says 2 people are here.
Mr. Combs' legendary white parties in the Hamptons were well known by many, including John Doe. So John Doe is the person in this case who is the plaintiff who doesn't also detain. We're going to talk more about that later as well. The time where countless celebrities were in 1998, important date, right? A long time ago. He was only 16 years old, so this was one of the minor plaintiffs that we heard. He was recruited out of New York City.
Whoever's listening, I'm listening to the latest Diddy charges.
So weird to think like the biggest celebrities world, we have like these teenage kids that randomly come. Like, why would the teenage kids end up coming here? Like, why is it, P. Diddy and all of his friends who are,
If you're in
lifestyle
here, hit the like
famous, we have
button.
random unknown teenage kids.
Give me
that are
some
showing
love.
up.
Give me some love.
That alone is a red flag.
Hit the like button.
When he received the invitation, he felt like he finally had the opportunity to rub shoulders with the who's who of the music industry. He thought it could be his chance to break into the music industry. Others from New York City received such invitation to go to the Hamptons for the party. Indeed, many of those at the party were, in fact, New Yorkers. The party took place at Combs' mansion in the Hamptons. As John Doe entered, he spotted
There's
countless
one
celebrities
left.
and A-listers who
Do me a favor and hit
performed
that
in
like
the
button for
entertainment
me.
industry. He recognized faces he had seen on TV and on the big screen. As John Doe made his way through the crowd toward the restroom, he unexpectedly bumped into Combs. Shocked, John Doe found himself face to face with Combs, a titan in the music industry, standing right in front of him at his own party. Doe took a picture with Combs at the 1998 party. And here's the picture. Now, something a little strange I found about this is he's going by John Doe trying to keep his anonymity, which I'm all for if it's appropriate.
10,000 years before the birth of Paul Atreides, we created a network of influence throughout the Imperium. But power comes with a price.
Streaming exclusively on Max.
There is a place where
Uh-oh.
magic seems to hide around every corner, where cherished memories are born in twinkling.
I wonder why they put this picture in the public. John Doe told Combs he was a big fan of Combs and shared his dreams of becoming a star. Combs smiled, telling him he had potential and the look. When John Doe admitted his voice was not great, Combs assured him that did not matter. Combs made clear that the only thing that mattered was having the right look for the industry, and with it, Combs could
When that thing
transform
goes
Doe
to 0, I'm
directly
out.
into a star. All sounds plausible.
And
right?
that's it.
Despite the pleasant conversation which occurred,
Five,
things took an unexpected turn
four,
for the worst. Combs
3,
abruptly told John Doe that he
2,
needed him to drop his pants.
1.
John Doe, caught completely off guard,